Whoa, okay, let's take a chill pill, let's relax. You know, it's only 4 games. I'm just as disappointed as the rest of you guys, but after 4 games, we cannot be throwing our toys out the pram. Chelsea lose 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. Let's get into it.
And blue is the colour. Essien! Lampard! That could be the championship.
Greetings! Welcome back to Couch Critic with me, Dennis P, for what is your Chelsea match review, but more specifically, a tactical synopsis of Chelsea's performance versus Nottingham Forest. But before I get into any of that, I need you all to do me a big favor. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification button. As you all know, we're trying to grow this channel, and every like goes a long way in ensuring that we can do that. It'll help me and it'll help my sponsors who go by the name of Major League Socks. And fellas, if you ever want to walk in the footsteps of greatness, you know what to do. Hit them up. The link will be in the description. Well, I guess the season's over now. We lost to Nottingham Forest at home 1-0. And, you know, everyone seems to think that this is the end, the beginning of the end. The writing's on the wall. And I just don't get it. Like, I'm just as disappointed as everybody else. I don't like seeing Chelsea lose at home. I don't like seeing Chelsea lose to, you know, a Nottingham Forest team. I don't like seeing Chelsea not take the opportunities and score goals. But this is early doors, man. Early doors. Like, if you're upset after game 4, imagine what it's going to feel like after game 15, 16, 17 if things don't turn around. Now is not the time for me to start throwing my toys out the pram and feeling a certain way about the squad for a multitude of reasons. Like, first and foremost, this is a brand new squad. Brand new from top to bottom, including the manager, including the training staff. And if you think that a few preseason games and, you know, a few preseason sessions where you don't have the full squad together is enough to assemble an idea of what you're supposed to be doing on the football pitch, I'd question your ability to understand what this game's all about. It takes a long time, especially with a young playing staff of under 21-year-olds, to understand what it is the manager's asking of them and for them to execute. There's a lot of pressure on a lot of these guys. We're essentially asking 21-year-olds to lead us through battle. We're asking them to play like veterans, take their opportunities. You know, when their heads get down, you know, you have the leadership to pick them up and kick on again. And it's just unrealistic. Just because we played a mint for these players, it's not because of who they are today. It's what they aspire to be in the future. It's what their potential holds. And you know, the maturity that it takes to be a real player in the Premier League, you know, real understanding and, you know, a real leader at the high end of the Premier League is not going to happen overnight. So all I'm asking is for everyone to just give it a little bit of time. What more can we do at this point in time? The transfer window is closed. We have to trust what we have. And the only way we're going to get out of these difficult moments is if we all come together as a club. And when I say club, I mean the players, I mean the staff, I mean the directors, I mean the owners, and I mean the supporters have to come together and support this team. I mean the truth of it, the proof is in the name, you know, that's where the hint is. It's called support. When we're in tough moments, we need the support from the club. We need the support from the supporters in order for these players to gain confidence and feel good about what it is that they're doing, whether it's good or bad. We cannot get into this never-ending cycle of recycling bad energy and hoping for it to just magically, you know, evaporate. The energy that we give to the players is going to be reciprocated because we are one club. If we don't feel good about the club, if we don't feel good about the performances, the players, it will manifest and recycle amongst the staff, amongst the playing staff. If you think that what you're doing by going on Twitter and all sorts of social media and whatnot and booing the team and cursing them out is actually helping this situation, I tell you to get your head checked, because that's not going to improve the situation we have right now. We have a young team that need the support of the supporters in order for them to reach their heights. And I'm just hoping that we can just turn this around and like give them the energy that they need to succeed. But don't get me wrong, there are some things that we do need to talk about. Like, there's things that are noticeable right now that need to be spoken on. And the first thing is Thiago Silva. We're going to be speaking on him, his role in the side right now. And we're also going to be looking at Chelsea's left side, which I'm starting to get really frustrated with. I just don't see the idea there. And yes, I know there are injuries within the club right now, and there are things that we have to come to grips with before we can see this evolution in the playing style. But this left side really needs to be spoken on, so we're going to start there. Now, it has to be said, I've been watching this team now since the first game in preseason, and we've evolved our playing style considerably since then till now. The left side of the pitch was where most of the overloads were occurring, was where most of our direct actions were happening, and it seems like right now when we're playing this, sort of like 3-3-4 lineup where, we have three midfielders in the middle of the pitch, and then when we're attacking, one of the eights advances into a number 10 role. It seems like the left side of the pitch is not being used to its full potential, and of course that comes down to the players that are on the pitch at the time. I said in my last video that what was basically happening is we're building our attacks, starting our attacks on the left-hand side and then transitioning it through the midfield to the right, where most of our, our ball carriers and whatnot are, looking to cut it back to the back post to where our left-sided players can finish. And, that somewhat is working, and I have no problem with that. But the problem that I have with it is that when you're playing Ben Chilwell at the left wing position, and you're looking for him to just be, take up those A1 positions and finish when he gets the opportunities because he is a good ball striker and whatnot. If that's not happening, and it's been 2 games in a row right now where we've gotten Ben Chilwell into incredible areas where you expect him to just make contact and score, and he's been fluffing it. That is when that needs to be changed, because he's certainly not being used in the build-up phase. He's only being used for late arrivals in the box, the back post, and in the A1 position right in the middle of the 18-yard box. And there was a couple opportunities the last couple of games where you expect him to just bury it, and he's just fluffing his opportunities. And of course I'm thinking that maybe that's why Pochettino is using Ben Chilwell in that role, because there really isn't a whole lot to defend. I mean, Chelsea are in possession of the football 65-70% of the game. So the very notion that, he's on there for defensive responsibilities just does not make any sense to me. It's specifically because he is a great ball striker. And when he's not doing that, there's no reason to have him on the pitch in that particular role. And further to that, I would say that Ben Chilwell's asset as a fullback is lost when you're playing him in the wingback, because he's not technically sound enough to play that high up the pitch. He's not beating anybody 1v1. He's not, taking anybody on. So, his strength as a fullback is diminished when you play him in a wingback role. Like, the things that you like about him in fullback is the fact that he, overlaps. He's a guy that can put in a telling cross. He's a guy that could, obviously get on the ball and strike it and score. But the problem that I have right now is when he's played at left wing, the strengths of his game are eliminated. Because when I look at Ben Chilwell, I see him as more of a secondary threat. He's not the primary threat in our attack. He shouldn't be. And when you play that left wing role, think of the players that we've had playing left wing for us over the years. I don't even have to mention Eden Hazard and whatnot. That's a prestigious position on the pitch. Very much like a number 10, the way that they use the left winger these days, inside forward and whatnot. So for me, Ben Chilwell needs to be returned to his rightful role as a fullback, where we can utilize his best strengths, which is again the same things that we're using him on offensively, but with less onus on him being a technical dynamo, which he's not. And the other thing too about this left side that I'm having problems with is, again, Levi Colwill playing at left back. I mean, in a game where you're chasing the game and you're looking for numbers in the final third, obviously, Nottingham Forest played with a 5-3-2 pretty much the entire game, 5-4-1 at times as well. You need to stretch the pitch, make it open so that you can have gaps of space for the runners to make, find the pockets of space down the flanks and down, in the channels and whatnot. And we're not able to do that if we don't have fullbacks that can actually stretch the pitch and make the width. And again, that was evident, so evident against West Ham and again against Nottingham Forest. And I just can't see that anymore. I understand that we want to build with 3 at the back and whatnot, and that's essentially what we want to do. But do we really need to do that if we have Caicedo playing in the midfield? Can we not play with 2 center backs and have, Caicedo be the one sitting in to make the back 3? If we can't do that with Caicedo, I don't know who else we're going to be able to do it with. And I don't see the value of having that many defenders on the pitch when you're chasing the game. It just doesn't make any sense to me. You need better ball carriers, you need better ball strikers, you need guys that can dribble past and whatnot. And we didn't offer enough in the final third to really even threaten what Nottingham Forest was putting up as a defensive front. And for me, that just comes down to personnel. I mean, he took off Ben Chilwell, the captain, on the day. Of course, he was on a yellow. He kept on all 3 center backs, and none of them give you any sort of attacking intent going forward. I mean, there were opportunities late in the game where it wasn't even from a set piece, where Disasi was just basically playing a secondary striker because of his aerial presence and whatnot. None of it came off, to be honest, none of it. And, you know, it just did not make any sense to have 3 defenders, 3 center backs on the pitch when we're chasing the game. I mean, we have players on the pitch, we have players on the bench who I think could have provided a lot more in the final third. And when they came on, they just looked completely disjointed because they didn't know where to position themselves. And I'm speaking of the Mudryks, I'm thinking of, you know, Cole Palmer, who was coming deep. I mean, the proof is right here. Look at what's happening on the pitch. The guys that you want to be in the final third are the ones that are, you know, coming deep to collect. And then that eliminates, you know, the role of the center backs. Like, Thiago Silva has absolutely no presence in this build-up. When you have Enzo Fernandez dropping deep, you have Cole Palmer dropping deep, you have Ian Maatsen dropping deep. Like, all of these guys are coming to collect the ball deep, and it just eliminates the purpose of having someone like Thiago Silva come into the game. And the Thiago Silva argument is something completely different unto itself. I mean, I watched the last couple of games, I was in a group chat and I was talking to people about Thiago Silva and how slow we move when he's on the ball. Like, he's taking 3, 4, 5, 6 touches before he's releasing it to the most obvious receiver. And that sort of thing, that sort of play is just slowing down our overall build-up play. When you watch Caicedo on the ball, it's 1, 2 touches, it's gone. Establishes a tempo and a rhythm with the midfield. When we have Thiago Silva building up from the back, it's just too slow and lethargic. And it just permeates throughout the squad. He's asking people to make runs that they're not in any position to make. And he's asking people to come near when there's nowhere to come to. You know, like, everything that I think that he's doing right now in the build-up phase is just causing us to slow down the game. And when that happens and you get people out of rhythm and there's no tempo to the game, the end result is Chelsea just not having any real attacking intent. No attacking threat whatsoever. The only chances that we generated from Thiago Silva today was direct balls in behind when they were on, and very few of them came off, unfortunately. And I say that to say this: I'm not advocating for Thiago Silva to, you know, basically be put on the sidelines or anything like that, like some of the crazy stuff that you're seeing on Twitter or not. He's a quality footballer. I just think that when we're looking to build from the back, I think that he needs to be one of the center backs that is off to the flanks and whatnot, and not being used as the central sort of, like, I don't know, libero, or, you know, the libero. I guess it's a regista when you consider where he is on the pitch and whatnot. I just don't like him in that role, because I think that Caicedo, when you see him in that position, he's just looking to move the ball quickly, keep things ticking over, move. One touch, 2 touch, 1 touch, 2 touch. And when you have that sort of tempo or rhythm into your game, it gives the opponents a lot to think about, and it has them shifting all over the place. And it's when you shift the defenders and whatnot that you start find gaps of space, when you find lapses in judgment, when you find lapses in concentration and whatnot, and that's when you break through. And we just didn't do that enough, again, because the tempo and the rhythm that's being established by our center backs is just too slow. Now, everything we're talking about today falls on the doorsteps of one man, and that is Mauricio Pochettino. He has to realize when something is not working and be able to put in the switches to impact the game. And I'm not seeing that right now. I'm just not seeing that. Maybe it's because he doesn't have a full squad. You know, the people that he would like to come in and change up the rhythm of the game and whatnot are just not available to him and whatnot right now. But overall, like, his game plan, if it's not working, I want to see him impact the game with subs. I want to see him impact the game with his idea of football, and I'm just not seeing that. The second half in particular was just a mess. A bunch of attackers on the pitch that just did not have any role, didn't have any understanding of what they were asked of on the pitch, and it was just like a smorgasbord of people just like running around. You know, Disasi attacking the box. You know, our most gifted, you know, ball carriers and most inventive, you know, passers, our most creative, you know, attackers, falling back to the center line. Come the next few games, we have to see a new idea of football. And we can't be relying on Ben Chilwell on the left flank, Colwill at left back. You know, all of this stuff, it just does not make any sense when you think of the attacking and talent that we have in this club right now. And then on top of that, we're not getting any further. We're not progressing. Like, the idea of football is not progressing with Ben Chilwell playing on the left wing. You know, I would rather give that role to Raheem Sterling or Mudryk or Ian Maatsen for that matter, and allow them to mature in those roles rather than give somebody that you don't envision in that role, you know, the license to, you know, make mistakes and not give us what we need in that position. Train the players who are fit for that position and give them the opportunity to play it. It doesn't make sense to play players out of position at this point in time. Just play the players that we have available to us in their the preferred roles and give them the opportunity to make mistakes and learn from them. It doesn't make any sense to give these guys, you know, have them on the bench watching Ben Chilwell play and not offer what you want from that position. It just makes no sense at all. So I'm just hoping that Mauricio Pochettino has come to the understanding that this is not working and we look to improve come the next few games. But that's it. Short and sweet. We're going to wrap it up there. A couple things that we did analyze. Obviously, Ben Chilwell, Colwill, Thiago Silva, and Mauricio Pochettino. All things that I think are glaring holes. And not to mention, you know, the striker department. We need Nico Jackson to finish opportunities. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I know he's a young striker coming to the Premier League for the first time. And it's difficult, it's very, very hard, but when opportunities are presented to him on a platter like they've been the last few games, he has got to take them. We're not going anywhere without Nico Jackson being at least a B-level finisher right now. And right now he's not showing us anything close to that. You know, so we need him to fix up, and we need him to take the opportunities. Maybe it's coming down to the fact that, like, he's getting 1 and 2 opportunities a game, and, you know, he's just not, that's not enough for a striker of his, you know, of his quality. He needs more opportunities to find his feet in this league. But regardless, we need him to be taking opportunities. And as supporters, I don't want to keep harping on this, but we just cannot, you know, take this young squad and just, you know, cast them aside immediately. We have to give them the support, you know, the confidence to build on. And that starts with us, I think. That starts with us. You know, the manager can only do so much. When they're in the stadium and we're not cheering and we're not giving them the support they need to kick on and find, you know, their best selves, you know, that's going to be problematic. And I feel like negative energy is something that is easily recycled and permeates throughout this club. You know, we've had a strong, solid year of that whole thing, and, you know, we're into a brand new season. We need to give support to these players. That's what I think. You guys let me know in the comments if you think otherwise. But until then, keep the blue flag flying high and up the chest. Peace.